All right, so I'm going to begin by sharing my screen with you now. I hope my screen is visible to all and my voice is audible enough. Now I'm going to begin by showing you, excuse me, I'm going to begin by showing you the link for the library. So that's library.kau.edu.sa. And on this website, you will be able to see all the links for your manuals, for your trainings, any videos that you would like to watch. I request all instructors to please mute their microphones to allow for a smooth training. I apologize. All right. So you can go to library.kau.edu.sa and we will be sharing this link with you by the end of the training. And this is where you will be able to find your manuals, your training material, and any other additional material that you may require in addition to the recording of this video. We will be sharing the recording of this video with you by email by the end of the week, and you will be able to access it at any time and watch it at your own pace. So now beginning by going to the VitalSource website, if you can see this here, this is the website for the VitalSource textbook platform. You simply click on the link and you will be redirected. Please excuse us for one moment. I will be back in just a minute. Just bear with us, please. All right, I apologize for the disruption. So starting from the beginning again, we have the library website, and this is where we will be able to find all the resources. So we just click on the kaustore.vitalsource.com. Once we do this, we will be redirected to the VitalSource website. On the VitalSource website, all you need to do is search for a book either using the ISBN, the title, or the author. So for example, I'm a math teacher and I'm teaching geometry. What I can do is I can simply look for the word geometry and hit enter. Once I'm inside geometry, sorry, requesting everyone to please mute their mics again, as it's causing some disruption. Right. So once I have searched for the keyword geometry, all the books with the word geometry will be returned to me. Now, if I'm not sure of the book or I have never used it before, all I need to do is click on the link for the book. It opens up for me, it shows me the name, the author, publisher, the edition, and the SKU number. I will explain the importance of the SKU number in a few moments. Until then, if you want to check what the book has and whether it matches your course outline or not, you can click on Table of Contents, and the Table of Contents will give you an explained, detailed insight as to what the book has and what it includes. Once you have checked the table of contents and you think that it matches your course outline, this is the book you want to use. I will now show you how you can integrate this into your Blackboard course. Now, if you are an Arabic speaking teacher or instructor and you find searching for everything in Arabic a little easier, there is a language tab on the right-hand side corner. You can click on it and change the language to Arabic or to keep it as English. Now, once you have finalized the book, we go to Blackboard. When you log into Blackboard, this is what your homepage looks like. Now, on your homepage, you can click on Courses. Once you click on Courses, you will see again all your courses either on the right side or the left side, depending on how your LMS has been integrated based on the language. Now, for me as a teacher, I might be teaching this course, so I click on the course that I want to integrate the book into. Once I have done this, on the left-hand side corner, you will see a plus sign in a circle. You can just hover over that and add content area. Inside content area, you can name it anything. You can name it ebook. You can name it resources. You can name it anything that you'd like. Once it's named, make sure you tick this box for available to users and click submit. Once that is done, as you go down on the left side of your screen, you will be able to see that this content area has been added. Now I will show you how you can link your book into this content area. You click on the resources link, and this is where it takes you, and it will tell you that it's time to add content. If you see the build content tab over here, as you hover over it, you will have this drop down. You say web link. So you click on web link and you will be redirected to a page where you can create a web link. Now, creating a web link is extremely easy. In the name, we recommend you put the name of the book. So I'm just going to copy it and paste it here. All right, so maybe I want to put a colon in the middle. Now in the URL, we will again share this URL with you in the chat box. So it's easier for you to just copy paste it. This is how the URL is. It's https://bc.vitalsource.com/books/ this is where your SKU number from VitalSource will be used. So I go back into my VitalSource and I copy the 13 digits of the SKU and I will paste it at the end of this link. This will make sure that I am integrating the right book into my Blackboard course. Once you have entered the correct URL, click on this box again and go down to description. In description, you can add anything of your choice. Maybe you want to add something like the details of the book, or why you have added the book, or what is important in the book, why the students should buy it, is it an additional resource or the supplementary book? Or you can simply copy the description from vitalsource.com. So you can go back into the book and you can copy the details. Just copy it and paste it over here. If you don't want to give the students extra details, as it's of no use for them, so you can just delete this and leave the important information. Once you're done adding the description, you will go down on the page, You will go down on the page and click submit. Once you have clicked submit, the book will be integrated into Blackboard for you. Now you can see this book is here, and all you need to do is click on this link and the book will open up for you in a new tab. Now, if you are not able to see this new tab for any reason, just go back to your Blackboard site, and over here next to the star, you will get a different notification or icon saying pop-up blocked. Please click on that and ensure that pop-ups from Blackboard are always allowed. If your pop-ups are blocked, the book will not be able to open up in a new tab. Now, once your book has opened up in a new page, you may either get a notification saying complimentary book access, so you can click OK and continue to use the book, or it may just simply open up for you as simple as this. All right. Now I've finished showing you how to look for your book and how to add it into Blackboard. Before I move on to the features of Bookshelf, if you have any questions that you would like me to go over before I move to Bookshelf, please let me know.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Now, when the book it shows, as I see in the screen now,
Mm-hmm.
do we have as a KAU staff, we have a license to open the book and make a marker and things, or we just showing the book for the students to know, and we don't have an access to really see the whole book content?
All right, so that's a very good question. You as an instructor have access to all the books on KAU VitalSource. So if you go to KAU VitalSource here, you will be able to use any book that you would like to from this website. As long as you search for it, you can search for any book and use the book. However, if the students want to access any pages from the book or the book as a whole, they have to buy it. So as an instructor, it's free for you, and students have to add it to the cart.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're most welcome. All right, so moving back to the book, before we begin, I would like to show you how to change the language. So since I'm an English speaker and everything is in Arabic for me, I'm going to simply click on this gear box here, and I can go here and change my language. So I'm going to change it to English.
Hi, Ritika.
Hi.
Yeah, there is a question. Actually, this question is from the student only. So they said that once they wanted to access the book from the Blackboard, then it was asking us some access code. So what is the meaning of the access code?
All right, so the students have to buy the book. If
Okay.
they don't buy the book, they do not have access to it, which is why it redirects them to a page where they have two options. You either buy it or you redeem a code. So for KAU, the policy is that the students have to buy the book. There is no redeeming of codes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're most welcome. All right, so going over the features of the book, this is the first icon. It's the home icon. It's basically your library of all the books. Now, for example, I'm teaching geometry in this term, and I'm teaching algebra in the next term, and I'm teaching calculus in the third term. But maybe after 2 years, I want to go back and look at all my books. So what I can do is I can simply click on this home icon in the library, and it will redirect me to my bookshelf where I will have all my books stored. So you can use them either on your website for where you redirected from the books, or you can download the Blackboard application, which is available for your Windows and Apple laptops, or even for your Apple or Android phones. So you can have the Bookshelf application, you log in with the same email, and you will have all your books ready to be used. Moving on to the table of contents. In the table of contents, once you click it, you can see that all the table of contents of the book are shown in detail. Now, if I click into any one of them, it also shows me the sub-chapters. So I can just click on anything and it will redirect me to the page that I want to go to. All right. So for example, this is where I have landed, and this is the page that I went to from my table of contents. All right. Now, if you want to search for something in the table of contents, for example, I want to search for the word history. Every chapter that has the word history will come up in my search, and I can just click on it and it will redirect me. This search will only search in the table of contents, which means this word has to be a part of the title or the subtitle of the chapter. If not, it will not give you a search result. Now, you as a teacher might be looking for a word, but not necessarily in the title. You might be looking at it from the textbook itself, from the content of the book. So the other way of searching, so I'm going to close my table of contents and I'm going to search. Now, if I go into search, and I look for calendar. When I look for the word calendar, it will give me the results of the word calendar from the entire book. Or if I want to look for the word calculation, it can give me all the calculation word in the entire book. All right. Now, if I want to look for a phrase, for example, I want to look for the phrase calculation on harmony. What it will do is it will look for the word, okay, maybe this is not a very good example. Let me give you something else. So this is the word hours. Now, if I'm looking for hours, or you can see that it looks for the word hours separately and the word or separately. Okay, it doesn't give it to me as a phrase. If I want to search for a phrase, I can simply put it in quotation marks, just add quotations before and after, and click enter, and it will look for the phrase hours or, and then it gives me the exact search result that I was looking for. Again, if you want to look for a specific word, then you can just search it by adding it. If you want to add it with a phrase, then it is recommended you put it in quotation marks and you will get the exact phrase which is searched for. All right, now moving on to highlighting. You as an instructor might want to highlight some text. You might want to share it with your students. So how do we do that? There are two ways of doing this. Either you can click and highlight the entire text, and as you hover over it, you will be able to see two colors. The yellow is if you want to keep it for yourself, and the green is the color that is recommended if you want to share it with someone, as you can see the icon inside for the shareable highlight. All right, now, for example, I want to highlight this in yellow. And not only do I want to highlight it, I also want to add a note to it. So I can add important. As I click outside, it will create a note. And you can see that I also have a post-it like icon on the left of the highlight, which tells me someone is sharing their screen. Would you please be able to close that so I can go back? All right, so coming back to highlighting, you can see that there is a post-it like icon on the left of the highlight, which shows me that I have added a note to my highlight. Now, once this is highlighted, I may want to go somewhere else and highlight this maybe in green because I want to share it with my students. So I can highlight it. Again, I can add a note and say for students, right? And the note has been created. Now, this is one way of highlighting. Another way in which you can highlight is simply, you can go to the bottom of the page. If you can see, I have this small arrow if you cannot see this box. Otherwise, you can just click on this arrow and you have an icon for fast highlight. Now, once you click on fast highlight, you can choose a color. So I'm going to go for yellow, and it gives me a notification saying fast highlighting has been turned on. I can close this as it's a little bit distracting. Now, once fast highlighting is turned on, anything that I'm going to highlight with my mouse is going to get highlighted. All right. For example, I want to change the color. I can just click, change the color, and continue highlighting. All right. Now, of course, I don't want everything that I highlight to be converted to a highlighted note. So I can just go over the fast highlight and click turn off. again, I get a notification saying fast highlighting has been turned off. This is the way in which you can fast highlight. So I have shown you 2 ways in which you can highlight your text. Now, how do you review all your highlighted text? You can see a notebook icon on the left of your screen. Once you click that, you will be able to see all your highlights in the same place. You can either add notes here, you can delete the highlight, you can view it in the book. So if I click view in the book, it goes back to the page where it was highlighted, and you can even edit them from here. All right. Now, if I want to share my highlight with someone, for example, I want to share my highlight with a colleague or a student, I can click on the gear and say manage sharing. Once I click on manage sharing, I either have the option of following someone whose highlights I want to see, or I can share my following link with someone who I want them to be able to see my highlights. Going over it again, if you want to follow someone's highlights, under I'm following, just enter their email ID and click add. If you have access to the same book, you will be able to see their highlights. If you want your colleagues or your students to follow your highlights, you go to my followers, copy this link, you get the notification. You can paste this link either in an email or by Microsoft Teams or any other method of communication that you may have with your colleague or student. Once they click on that link, they will be taken to the book. If they have access to the book, they can see the highlights that you have created. Another way of using your highlights is by opening it in class notebook, and you can assign it to your students as maybe homework or an assignment or even a quiz. So you can just sign in with your work or Microsoft account, and it will be saved in your OneNote. Another way of reviewing all your highlights is you can print them. So when you click on print, you can choose how many highlights you want. For example, you can only print it chapter by chapter. Now all my highlights by coincidence are from the same chapter, so I can select them and I can click print. Once I click print, you can see that it opens up the printing page for me. So I can either choose to print it or just print it to PDF. It tells you the date, the book that you are printing it from, what color the highlight was, what date the note was created, and also who is the one who is printing these highlights. If you would just like to save it as a PDF, you can also save it from this page. Now, another way of reviewing your highlights is clicking on review mode. Once you click on review mode, again, you get the choice to choose all your highlights from here, and you can say start review. Once you say start review, you will be given your highlights from the beginning, one by one, and you can just click on next. When you click on next, not only are you taken to the next highlight, so you have it in the context of the book, you have just the highlight zoomed in for you, and also you have a progress bar here. This progress bar helps you know how much of the highlights you have already completed reviewing. So in my case, I have finished reviewing 25% of my total highlights. All right, so I can either go back to the previous highlight or to the next highlight, and you can see that the progress circle changes. And if I want to exit, I can just click on exit and I will be taken back to my book. These are some of the ways in which you can use your highlights. Any questions about highlights before I move on? All right, great. Moving on to labs. Now, labs is an under development feature, and it may not always be as seamless on every book. So it's still under development and it's not 100% completed. Now, some of the interesting features that labs have, you can highlight your text in a different way. For example, let me just change the chapter So we make it a little more diverse. So I just changed the chapter that I went to so I can show you in detail later. Now, for example, I want to highlight something here, but I don't want it to have a color. Maybe I want the student to pay extra attention to this. So when I highlight it and I hover over it, I have my emojis here. So I can put the eye emoji, and you can see that it is underlined as well as the emoji has been added. Maybe, for example, this is important, so I can add another emoji, and again, it is underlined. All right, so this is some ways in which you can see your highlights done in a little different way. Now, you also have the option of look up in Investopedia or look up in Wikipedia. So you can highlight a word and you can either say look up in Investopedia or look up in Wikipedia, or you can even define it. So once you click on any of these options, it gives you a pop-up which gives you the exact definition or the search that you may have requested. You also have an option of night display. So if you switch on night display, it becomes a little less bright. So you can read it even during the night without having much strain on your eyes. So these are some of the features that I have already shown you, and the rest of the features I will show you as we go along on the features. Moving on to next very important part, which is flashcards. Now, every student and every instructor loves having flashcards as a way of review. So you can create your flashcards by clicking the plus button here. You can add the name of a deck. You can either name it by the review, by the test, by the chapter, however you'd like it. So for example, I'm going to name this chapter 7, and I say save. Now my deck has been created and I can add cards inside. In the cards, you have a front side and a back. So on the front, I can add, for example, the keyword that I want. And in the back of that card, I'm going to add the definition. All right. So I can either just copy it and paste it here. It's a little too long. Let's just shorten it. As this is just for example, just want to show you how it's done. All right, now once this is done, I can click save. Another way of creating a highlight is you can just click on the plus button here and you can type in whatever you would like to type. Again, you can just save it. And the third way in which you can create a flashcard is you can highlight it and you can say create flashcard. When you create flashcard, you can choose either an existing deck or you can create a new deck. Now, if for example, I want to create it in the same one, it created the deck. Now, if I want to highlight this, I can just copy it and paste it here. All right. So there are 3 ways of creating a deck, and this is how they are. So you can either copy paste, highlight and choose create flashcard, or just type in whatever you would like. Now, once your flashcards have been created, of course, you would like to either review them or ask your students to answer them. Students can also create their own flashcards. Now, if you want to make any changes on your flashcard, you can either click delete from here, or you can click the 3 dots and delete it, or you can edit it from here, or click the 3 dots and edit. Now, going on to how I can review my flashcards. Again, we have a similar play button here like we had in the highlights. So when I click on play flashcard, I'm given my flashcards, I'm given the same progress bar. On the progress bar, it tells me how many total flashcards I have, how many I am already done reviewing, or I am at currently. Also at the bottom, it tells me which number of flashcard I am currently out of the total. I can choose to shuffle them, so my first flashcard changes the order. Or even if I'm on the last flashcard and I want to go back to the first, I can click on refresh and it takes me back to the first. Now, once I'm on my flashcard, I have the word foundations and I'm going to write the answer. Once I'm speaking out the answer or telling myself what the answer is, I can check whether I'm right or wrong by clicking on it. When I click on it, it gives me the answer. Now, if my answer is right and I'm confident that I do not need to review it before the exam again, I can say I know it. Now, I know this, so I'm going to go on to my next flashcard. Again, I see this, I answer it. I checked my answer by clicking on it. Unfortunately, the answer that I gave was wrong. Now, either I can go back and review it again and check my answer again, but I failed to give the right answer again, so I definitely don't know it. So I can click on I don't know it and move on to the next one. Now you can see the progress bar has been constantly changing with every flashcard, and I'm also on number 3 of 3, meaning I'm on my last flashcard. Again, I read this, I check my answer, and I don't know it again. I want to go back to my first flashcard. I can either go left from the arrow, or I can simply click on refresh and it will take me back to my first flashcard. Now, if you have 10 or 15 flashcards, or anything more than 5, because if you have 5, of course, you get used to the flashcards. So if you have a big number of flashcards and you want to keep shuffling them, so you know that it's not the order that you remember, it's actually the answer you remember, you can keep shuffling the deck and the order of the flashcards changes. To exit the review mode of the flashcard, you click on the X and you're taken back to the book. Again, when you're here in the flashcards, on the left you will be able to see a red line if you clicked on I don't know, and a green line if you said I know. So you have 2 ways of reviewing it again. If you don't know it, you can again click on it and review it here, or you can review them all by going in to the review. When you go back into the review, you can either choose an option of studying all the cards, or you can choose the option of only studying the cards that you don't know. Now, as I already mentioned, if you have, say, about 15 or 20 cards per chapter, and it's the end of the term exam tomorrow, of course, I don't want to spend any time going over the ones that I'm already confident about. So I can click Study Week Cards, and I will only be given the ones that I don't know. So this is all about flashcards, and it is a very important feature for students as well as for instructors to help their students review material or just create a quick revision method. Now, from book to book, there is a variation of how you can access pages. In some books, you will have an arrow on the left as well as on the right, so you can click on them to move pages previously or next. You may also have a search bar at the bottom where you can type in the number and click enter, and you will be redirected to your desired page. The third option is this scrubber bar. You can click and drag it to the left or drag it to the right, and you will be able to see in the center of the screen which chapter or subchapter you are landing on. As you release the scrubber bar, it will redirect you to the page that you chose. All right. Now in this book, it's not left and right, it's about back and front, top and bottom. So once I click on top and bottom, it can take me to the next page and the previous page. All right, so if I go at the bottom, I will see the arrow again, and I can go next. All right. Now, in this case, there is no printing available, so it says printing unavailable. If you have printing available in your book, you can click on this print icon. It will tell you how many pages are allowed by the publisher for you to print. It can vary from 0 in this case to 2, 10, or even 50 pages at a time. You can, based on the number of pages allowed, you can enter your page range that you would like to print and click print, and it will be printing for you. For example, the page limit is 2 pages, but the range that you have entered is 5 pages by accident. it will not go ahead. It will give you an error saying you have exceeded the number of pages that are allowed by the publisher to print. Another tool that may be useful is you can read aloud. So again, in this bar, you have read aloud. And once you click play, it's going to start reading from the top of the page. So I'm just going to show you an example.
8. The measurement of the earth, Herodotus. What is geometry, again and finally?
So this is how it will read aloud. Now, for example, if you want to read from here, you can click, you can highlight that, and you can see read aloud from here. Once you do that,
Does this version, whose completeness and sufficiency sum up the second part of this book, in fact suffice?
so you saw that it started reading from where I highlighted. All right, so this is a read aloud option. Some people may adapt to the material better when they listen to it, so it's a useful tool which is inbuilt in Bookshelf as well. We already went over the feature of fast highlight. The other important feature in Bookshelf is citation. If your students are using any text from the book that they may be adding in their assignments or their research papers, to prevent them from plagiarism, you can choose them to do the citation from within the book. You can have the options of citation, which is MLA, APA, Harvard, or Vancouver. And depending on the style of the citation, it will give you the formatting. You can simply click copy. Again, it gives you a notification saying it has been copied to the clipboard, and you can paste it on Word, and it will be pasted along with the citation formatting, which is the hanging indentation. Now, if you would like to change the format of the citation, you can even choose another one and carry on. Finally, the last feature that is important in the book is the copy URL. Once you click on this, you are taken to the exact page link. So this link will tell you exactly the page that you're copying the URL from. And once you copy it and paste it to an email or Microsoft Teams or again any other method of communication, another person that you're sharing it with, provided they have access to the same book. So if it's an instructor, they can access it. If it's a student, they will have to buy the book before they access it. So they will be able to access that page directly. They will not have to go and look for the specific page. All right, so these are some of the features of Bookshelf, and I hope it was clear. If you have any doubts, we're still here to answer your questions. If not, thank you so much for attending. We will be sharing a feedback form in the chat box. Please fill out the feedback form for us, and we would really appreciate it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
Ms. Lamia?
Yes, sharing the notes and flashcard with the students. They should buy the book to see the sharing notes and sharing flashcards, or no?
Right. So when it comes to sharing, for sharing highlight, you can share it with them, but they need to have the book. For the flashcard, currently you cannot share the flashcard, so you can only show it to them on your screen, maybe through a projector. But it's not possible for you to share the flashcard because it's a more individualized experience. So everyone wants to learn it in a different way. So for sharing the highlights, yes, the student has to buy the book.
Okay, thank you.
Most welcome. Any other questions?
May I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So Ritika, I was just wondering, like textbook is there in one particular course, and then several references book, right? So can I have reference book also?
Yes, of course. So when I showed you that you can integrate it on Blackboard, so for example, I named my area, my content area, I named it resource. So you can name it textbook for the primary book that they are all supposed to have. And for any additional material, you can name it maybe additional resource or additional resource 1, 2, 3. So naming the content area is completely customizable and based on the liking of the instructor.
Okay.
So you can add an n number of books. It depends on the students which book they want to buy and which book they don't want to buy.
Okay. And the second question is, what is the total number of the copies I can add in a semester?
What do you mean? You mean to your own bookshelf?
Yes, yes, yes. If I'm taking 3 courses, but there may be I mean, adding the textbook and the references book, total comes out to be 9. So can I add all 9 books over there?
Of
What is
course, you
the
can add all the books to your bookshelf and they will be available for you to use as and when you may require them. They will remain in your bookshelf, which you can either use on your laptop, your phone, or your tablet as well.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. First, thank you for this يعني fruitful training workshop.
Thank you so much.
But my question is based for my students. They asked me yesterday where they can, whom they can contact to take like us a training program for the Vital Source. I
All
hope
right,
you
so
understand.
we have 2 sessions for trainings for the students. There is one at 10 a.m., which is in Arabic, and there's one at 6 p.m., which is in English. These trainings started yesterday, and they will be on until next Monday. If they have not received the link for the training, I will put in the email in the chat box, and they can simply send me an email on this, and I will send them the link for the training, for the student.
Yeah, I think is it automatically this message يعني sent to the girls, or they have to ask someone to take from where they can take it?
So Dr. Ghassan and Mr. Ali have shared the form with, just like you all filled in a form for your preferred training, a similar form was shared with the students as well. However, if they may have missed it, it's okay. They can just send me an email on support.kau@cts.ae, and I will share the training link with them.
Okay, you send it, yeah? You
Yes.
send
Yes, I have put it in the chat box.
the chat box. I can't see it.
Can
Support
you see the
KU.
chat? Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, I have a question.
Yes, please.
After going through all the steps and putting all my information at the end when adding a book to my Blackboard, then it gives me a message that it was there's success, but it won't open the book.
Okay, can you please send me a screenshot of this on the same email that I shared?
Can I share it now? This is it. Can you see it?
Actually, this is an instructor training session for everyone, so I would like to make it a little more generic for everyone. If you could please send me a screenshot of this by email, and we will raise this up to our technical team and get you an answer within 3 working days.
Perfect. I'll send it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? All right, once again, please don't forget to fill in the feedback form. And thank you so much for attending the training, and wishing you a great day ahead, and stay safe.
One more question, may I ask?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, actually, the number now which we need to feed for getting our the link, right?
Right.
So sometimes what happens, the number we are supposed to copy before R, and sometimes we have to copy the number after R also. So I don't know what works better, because I tried it 2 times without R. It works well for me for 2 different courses. In one of the course, I have to take the code after R also.
All right, so the reason that the alphabet R along with the number there is for a rental. You as an instructor do not need to copy anything beyond R. So only the first 13 digits is what you need, as you instructors have complimentary access to the books. However, if a student would like to choose only a rental book, for example, they only want to access the book for 3 months or 6 months, then they can choose the option of rental and pay accordingly. As instructors, it's highly recommended that you only copy the first 13 digits of the SKU and not the one including the R.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Ritika.
Most welcome.